¿Alguien quiere levantar la mano ¿Alguien quiere levantar la mano para alguna pregunta? Okay. All right. Lo dejo a Naima. So I'm going to pass this off to Naima, who's our theme leader, who's brought together this great panel. And Naima, Lillian will be translating for you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Carolina, for those helpful tips on technology. And greetings to everyone here today to Theme 3, Women, Blackness, Marginality, and Theater.
Y gracias por estar todos o todas aquí con nosotros para pensar esta tarde sobre teatro, mujer, marginalidad.
My name is Naima Zulu from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm here as an advisor and theme leader for Open Channels, and I am a performing artist here in New Orleans.
Yo soy una artista de performance de aquí de Nueva Orleans y soy consejera de este equipo.
And I just like to thank everyone for being here and taking interest in this theme, this very important theme. Thank you so much for being here today.
Y gracias a todos y a todas por estar con nosotros y estar interesados e interesadas en este tema.
Okay, so we don't have much time, so let's start on our esteemed guest panelists that we have here for you today for this topic. From New Orleans, Louisiana, we have our moderator. For our leader in discussions is Osetua Amor Amenkum. She is artistic director of Kumbuka Drum and Dance Collective, and she's also director of the Graduates Rising Ensemble here in New Orleans. She is a scholar on New Orleans history, and she is also a Black masking Indian here. Osetua, do you want to show your face? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Bueno, que una de la moderadora va a ser Osetua Amor, no escuché su segunda. Osetua Amor, ¿what?
Amenkum.
Y ella es directora artística de un grupo en Luisiana.
And Graduates Rising Ensemble.
Del grupo de levantamiento.
Okay. Also hailing from New Orleans is Miss Sunny Patterson. She is an incredible poet, beautiful singer, just an all-around amazing artist. Has traveled all over. She works with so many incredible artists around the world. And she's also one of the leading artists with Junebug Productions of the Gomela production. Okay.
Sí, también con nosotros está Sunny Patterson, es una poeta, cantante, en realidad artista, ha viajado y trabajado con artistas de todo el mundo y en Nueva Orleans trabaja con Jumba Producciones Jumba.
We also have Monique Moss, artistic director and choreographer of the Ancestral Project. And also Third Eye Theater, interdisciplinary and improvisation performance company.
También está con nosotros Monique Moss, que es la directora artística de un proyecto que se llama Proyecto Ancestral y de una compañía de teatro que se llama Tercer Ojo.
And last but not least, we have Miss Chiquita Ominira from Brooklyn, New York. She is an established actress, dancer, author of the children's book, Just Because, and also mother of a rising star on Broadway.
Y también con nosotros está Chiquita Ominira, de Brooklyn, de Nueva York. Ella es actriz, es madre y autora de un libro para niños que se titula Porque sí.
Gracias. Okay, so Osetua, we'll get it over to you now. Our time is short, so we can move forward. Thank you.
Okay, just
Okay,
one
so-
interruption. Por favor, no se, por favor, apaguen sus videos si no van a hablar, por favor. Gracias. Go ahead, Sotua.
Setwa, your mic is muted, and you can turn your camera on.
Right, is
while you're
Kathy
talking.
on here? Yeah, is Kathy on here? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Setwa. You can turn your
Yeah, can you hear me?
camera on.
I'm clicking on it, but my picture's not popping back up.
Okay, well, that's okay. Go ahead.
Let me see. But do we have Kathy on here? There I am.
Yes, she's here. She's on.
Okay, so, well, first of all, I'm going to get right to the point because this is going to be a challenge for me because I talk long. This is going to be good. Poquito, habla poquito, short, right? So I'm going to start off by asking, first of all, thanking everybody for being here and glad everybody is safe. Sounds like everybody's safe.
Setwa, hold on for your translator.
Yeah.
Right.
Gracias a todos, que esto va a ser un reto para mí, porque lo de hablar poco, porque tiendo a hablar mucho y sobre todo me alegro mucho de que todos estemos aquí bien de salud.
Okay, first question. Where in the area of arts do you see yourself as a woman, and do you feel marginalized? I want to just make it a very short beginning question. Where do you see yourself as a woman in theater, and if you feel marginalized?
Y la primera, o sea, quisiera comenzar con una pregunta y es la siguiente. ¿Dónde se ven ustedes como mujer y artista? Y si sienten que si se sienten marginalizadas. Do you want responses?
Okay.
Chat or just like a...
Yes, let's go with Monique Moss first. Monique, can you hear me?
Greetings, yes.
So where do you see yourself as a woman in theater, in the arts, and if you feel marginalized?
Well, thank you everyone for this platform. First of all, I would like to state that it is possible within marginality to maintain one's connections to spirituality, culture, and history. The amazing thing about marginality sometimes is that without outside or external impulses or complications or conflicts or confrontations, we can maintain practices.
Monique,
Hold
hold for your
However-
translation. Hold for your translation.
Sí, entonces antes que nada lo que quiero decir es que aún desde dentro de la marginalidad es posible mantener contactos muy fuertes con nuestra cultura, con la espiritualidad, con nuestra historia y aún sin tener como complicaciones externas, ¿verdad? Podemos de todas maneras mantener nuestras prácticas. Go ahead.
But in a more artistic, almost existential response to that question.
Pero para responder a esa pregunta de una manera más artística, quizás más existencial.
My answer is yes, I do feel marginalized.
La respuesta es que sí, yo me siento marginalizada.
And how do you deal with that, Monique?
I see myself at a crossroads, and it's a space that I have become more comfortable in my unknowingness.
Yo me siento como en un cruce de caminos y en un espacio que he aprendido a sentirme cómoda desde no, sí, como desde la falta de conocimiento o desde la inseguridad, digamos.
And that simply, if you would think about a crossroads, for me, my marginalization is primarily defined as the intersection between, let's say, the call of ancestors or tradition and the response using an aesthetic in a contemporary voice.
O sea, yo me encuentro en este cruce de caminos y lo defino en realidad como la intersección entre la llamada de nuestros ancestros y una respuesta artística contemporánea a esa llamada.
Do you feel this marginalization do you feel it's imposed by society, structure or systems, or is it something that is coming from another source, the marginalization?
La pregunta es si siente que la marginalización es impuesta por la sociedad, por el sistema o sistemas, o si viene de otras fuentes.
The answer is absolutely both.
Las dos cosas, ¿no? O sea, tanto por la sociedad como de otras fuentes.
Okay, Sunny.
Can I say that?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Monique.
Let me clarify. And I'll end it with, I say that because I understand now that my existence feels like the physical world and the spiritual world meeting constantly.
Y respondo así porque para mí ahora yo siento como que mi existencia es un encuentro constante entre el mundo físico, ¿verdad? El mundo que me rodea y el mundo espiritual.
Hence, the last thing that I'll state is that the work that I am creating now, which is a compilation of my journey for a couple of decades, is titled The Ancestral Project, Alchemy of the Spirits, which is an acronym TAPAS.
Which is an acronym what? I'm sorry?
EAPAS, TAPAS.
Ah, ya. Ok. Y entonces el trabajo que yo estoy creando ahora, que viene en realidad de mi jornada, ¿verdad?, de búsqueda, se titula La llamada de los ancestros, el camino, con un, bueno, sí, ya, los ancestros, el camino.
Ominara, okay. So Aminara, same question for you, my sister. Where do you see yourself in the arts? And I'm not going to assume that all female artists feel marginalized, so I'm going to ask that question. Do you feel marginalized? And if so, what do you think that marginalization is being imposed upon?
Greetings, and as well as she said, thank you all for having me here. As Naima mentioned, I'm coming from the East Coast. I'm in New York. And I definitely feel that women, especially women of color, are marginalized. You do see what's happening. And it's in this by both. It's the expectation. It's a man's world. It's the man, you know, even on the stage, we can be their counterpart.
Hold for your translation.
Entonces, bueno, muchas gracias. Yo estoy en Nueva York, estoy en la otra costa y sí, por supuesto, como mujer de color me siento marginalizada y esa marginalización viene de, digamos, por las dos razones que hablábamos anteriormente. Tiene que ver con las expectativas, es un mundo, o sea, en el mundo del arte es un mundo de hombres, aún en el escenario. So men's world on stage.
Yes, we still have the role of a maid or their significant other.
Sí, todavía nos dan el papel de criada o de, digamos, amante.
This is why such plays as Eclipsed, which was written by Denai Guerra, who was in Black Panther. She has a play that's as a cast of all African-American women, all African-American women, which was a major thing for Broadway.
Por eso una obra de teatro titulada, vamos a decir, Eclipsada. Eclipse en el pasado, sí, Eclipsado es tan importante. Esta es una obra en Broadway y tiene, o sea, todas las actrices son actrices africanas o afroamericanas.
Okay, so, and also the play Tina, about Tina Turner, and about Donna Summers. Unfortunately, Donna Summers did not last long, but this just shows you how few plays there are, in particular Broadway productions, and even off Broadway, are starring women of color.
Otra obra en Broadway es Tina, sobre Tina Turner y Donna Summers, y este número tan pequeño, ¿verdad?, de obras de obras de teatro, específicamente o especialmente en Broadway, o sea, representa nuestra marginalidad. Hay muy pocas obras de teatro o sea, de artistas afro-norteamericanas o para actrices afro-norteamericanas.
Sunny, if you're there, can you hear same question for you? Sunny? Is Sunny on?
Sunny, your mic is on mute if you're on.
He may be muted.
I said, why don't you move to the next person and I'll text her.
Kathy, are you there? Can you hear? Kathy? Okay, so I'm going to move to the next question.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes. Did you hear the question?
Is it the first one?
It's the first question I asked. I'm asking the same question to everyone to make it easier on the translation and all of that, yeah.
Okay. If everybody sounds like I'm in a submarine underwater. So if I start to sound unintelligible, just text me or wave at me because I can actually see you, Asatoa. Okay. Yes, yeah, I definitely have felt marginalized as a woman in theater. I'm a white woman, born and raised in New Orleans, and I work very regularly with Asatoa. I'm the co-director of The Graduates and the LCIW Drama Club, and I've also been fortunate to work with Monique Moss on a couple of pieces. But yeah, I actually, sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Kathy, let me translate. Is that okay?
Right.
Sorry to interrupt. Entonces, Kathy, que sí, que ella se siente marginalizada como mujer blanca. Ella es de Nueva Orleans, nacida y criada en Nueva Orleans. Trabaja con Asatoa como asistente de dirección de The Graduate, y también ha trabajado con Monique en varios proyectos. That's it, Kathy.
So I wanted to go. Thank you so much. I wanted the first time I felt marginalized in theater was when I was in university in Chicago at Northwestern. Um, and I realized that all of the plays in my theater department that we were studying and interpreting, I was taking acting. All of the plays we were interpreting were written by white European or American men.
Y la primera vez que sentí esa marginalización fue en la universidad. Yo estudié en la Universidad de Northwestern en Chicago y me di cuenta que en mis clases, ya sea de actuación o de interpretación de obras literarias, de obras de teatro, todas las obras eran escritas por hombres blancos, europeos o norteamericanos, pero todos por hombres blancos. Todas las obras escritas por hombres blancos.
And it was out of that experience that I created my first solo performance that was called Rage Within Without. That was an exploration of anger, aggression, and violence in women. And that project led me to the work with the incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women back home in New Orleans.
De esa experiencia fue que yo escribí mi primera obra, mi primera pieza donde yo trabajaba yo sola, que se tituló Rabia dentro y fuera. Es una pieza que lidiaba, ¿verdad? O que se acercaba al tema de la violencia, de la agresión, de la rabia de la mujer. Y fue a través de esta pieza que yo llegué a trabajar en un proyecto de regreso en Nueva Orleans, trabajar en un proyecto con mujeres que están encarceladas.
So, as the moderator, I'm going to take some liberties. I'm not going to answer the question, but I am going to show you some visual stuff. Black women in particular went from roles that looked like this. Then we were like this. And the areas in between was non-existence for a very long time, right? I'm going to stop for translation.
La mujer negra en el escenario ha estado, o sea, entre dos imágenes visuales. Una es la de la izquierda, que es un poco como la figura, no sé cómo se dice en español. Show again the right one, entre la de la izquierda, que es como la figura de Ay Mamá Inés, digamos, and the other one. Sí, y la otra que es bueno, ahí la ven, exótica, bailarina, objeto sensual.
And the areas the reality is that there are so many diverse images and examples of Black womanhood that were not represented. Even in 2020, we're still dealing with some of those extreme images. So the question, go ahead.
Obviamente entre esos dos extremos, o sea, en esos dos extremos no se representa la diversidad, ¿verdad? De ejemplos de diferentes maneras de ser mujer de color, de ser mujer afro-norteamericana.
So the question is, at this pivotal point in time where the world, let's speak for America, appears to be restarting, it's a reset. So what is it that can be done? What can we do to position ourselves to give those examples of Blackness that's so important, not just to say we have representation, but for our community, for our children, for other women to be able to see a reflection of themselves. Translation.
Ya. Entonces, en este momento, donde por lo menos en Estados Unidos hay una sensación de que se reempieza de comienzo, la pregunta es, ¿qué podemos hacer nosotras? Bueno, y nosotros, ¿qué podemos hacer para dar un ejemplo un ejemplo de negritud, un ejemplo, o sea, poder dar papeles, ¿verdad?, donde se puedan sentir reflejados, las personas puedan sentirse, las mujeres puedan sentirse reflejadas.
So, Sunny, can you hear me? Sunny? Is Sunny on? Okay, Sunny's not on.
She was having a problem with her mute button. It wouldn't take her off mute.
Okay. Okay. Is it Sunny? Are you there? Okay, so I'm gonna start with Aminara first. What can we do? What is it that we can do, because we know we're limited by systems, institutional racism, lack of funding, lack of resources, but what can we do as women of color to kind of rectify the situation for future?
Sorry. It seems like the best thing we can do is to write for ourselves, create for ourselves, do our best in whatever part we are getting, even go out for the role where they may not necessarily be us, but go and try and convince otherwise. Because the problem is there's nothing written for us as a lead. I'll wait for the translation.
Entonces, la pregunta era, ¿no?, que qué podemos hacer como mujeres de color, teniendo en cuenta que estamos limitadas por el racismo institucionalizado, por el sistema. Y entonces la respuesta dice que lo que tenemos que, ella cree, Monique, ¿no?, que lo que tenemos que hacer antes que nada es escribir, crear papeles para nosotras. Ya que no existen papeles para nosotras, o hay muy pocos papeles, y continuar tratando de convencer a los otros de que nos den papeles importantes.
So we have more women writers and directors in film and television, and that's been a great accomplishment. We need to have that same energy in theater. We have one writer named Dominique Maruso, who now has a Broadway production of Ain't Too Proud, on Broadway. So sisters like her and, getting other people in to start writing our story is the best thing that we can do at this point.
En el cine y en la televisión hay más ejemplos, ¿verdad?, de escritoras y más ejemplos de papeles para mujeres de color, pero en el teatro hay muy pocos papeles, muy pocas escritoras. Otro ejemplo es una dramaturga, Dominique Maruso, que tiene una obra en estos momentos en Nueva York, en Broadway. O sea, en realidad la importancia de escribir nuestras historias.
Okay, Monique, would you like to add?
Just one thing, let me remind everybody to please keep your microphones off if you're not speaking. Thank you very much.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. My immediate answer would be to raise and educate the children to understand who they are, where they come from, and also to understand the systems under which we live. I think one of the breakdowns in the education of our children is oftentimes identifying the philosophies and the ideologies that exist that are oppressive. And if we spent more of our intentional time raising their consciousness about where they are, how they got to wherever they are geographically, politically, socially, I think that the generations that come behind us will be stronger.
Entonces, yo creo que una de las cosas o sea, muy importantes que tenemos que hacer es, o sea, tiene que ver con la educación de nuestros hijos. O sea, cambiar el sistema de educación. Hay que, o sea, explicar el sistema, develar, ¿verdad? El sistema racista, de manera que ellos puedan identificar el sistema, identificar, o sea, lidiar con la ideología, hacer de que entiendan o que aprendan, ¿verdad?, de dónde están, cómo llegaron, hacia dónde están geográficamente, políticamente, socialmente, ideológicamente.
Just real quick, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. The 3 icons to your bottom left, the middle one, please raise your hands. Or if you want to answer any questions or respond to any of these ideas. Si tienen cualquier pregunta o quieren hacer un comentario, por favor, levanten la mano. Si van, vean la pantalla a la izquierda, abajo, hay 3 iconos. En el medio pueden levantar la mano y pueden comentar. I think Karen has her hand up.
Okay, Karen. Unmute, unmute. Check your mute button, Karen. We can't hear you. Ooh.
Karen, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Karen, we can't hear you.
Maybe she can't hear us.
Exactly.
Okay. Karen, if you can hear me, we cannot hear you. I don't think she can hear me because she's still moving her mouth.
Ask her to raise her hand if she hears you.
Karen, if you hear us, can you raise the hand? Can you raise the icon hand? We can't hear. Oh, she's just muted. She's muted.
But she's still talking.
Karen, you're muted. Should we go on to the next?
Yes, please.
I sent her
Okay,
a
let's go.
message. So,
Alejandra, oh, go ahead, Asweta.
Go ahead.
We have another question from Alejandra, who's from
Okay, go ahead.
a theater group in Argentina, ¿verdad? Alejandra, por favor.
Sí, bueno.
Usted
No
tiene
se
el
escucha.
volumen apagado.
Es que a ver, yo soy cubana y vivo en Argentina. Y hago teatro desde Cuba.
I am Cuban, I live in Argentina.
¿Me oyen?
Sí. Ahora, sí, la traductora va ahora, Ale.
Yeah. I'm Cuban, I live in Argentina, and I've been doing theater since Cuba. Adelante.
Ya. Bueno, yo acá conformé una compañía de teatro que trabajamos las opresiones de las mujeres negras. Nadie habla en nuestro nombre. Nosotras mismas en escena presentamos nuestras circunstancias de vida.
And here I formed.
Te doy chance a traducir.
Sí, sí, sí. Here in Argentina, I formed a group of Black women, and we are on stage talking about the various oppressions of Black women. No one speaks for us. We speak for ourselves in Argentina and on stage. Alejandra.
Más allá, sí, más allá de que estoy de acuerdo con todo lo que se ha analizado hasta ahora, hay algo que sí me llama la atención. Se han puesto extraordinarios ejemplos, pero se ha dicho Broadway, es decir, la voluntad de las creadoras negras de artes escénicas y creo que de otras especialidades, me parece que estamos todas o una gran parte tomando por nosotras mismas nuestra propia representación, no esperando que nadie nos dé papeles. ¿Dónde está el conflicto? Ah,
Yeah,
no, me callo.
Sí, gracias. And so I agree with everything that, pretty much everything that has been said, but one thing concerns me or makes me wonder, and that is the constant reference to Broadway. So I think that we need to take our history in our own hands and create our own stories. Adelante.
Entonces, gracias. Entonces, estamos muy lejos de tener económicamente las posibilidades para nuestras producciones. Porque no es lo mismo hablar de Broadway que hablar de otro tipo de teatro. Ahí, una vez que una llega, ya está teniendo el respaldo de una producción. Yo creo que entre las cosas que tendríamos que preguntarnos o tratar de analizar es cómo llegamos también a tener las posibilidades económicas para que nuestras producciones pues tengan la calidad y tengan además las posibilidades de ser vistas por amplios públicos. Gracias.
And so my question is, it has to do with economics, right? We're far away, very far away economically, very far away from Broadway. So the question is, like, how do we get there? How can we financially support ourselves and our productions so that they can have the quality?
Your volume's down.
Excuse me? So they can have our productions can have the quality that we want them to have, and also so that they can be seen by a wider audience.
I want to say that I think Aminara referenced Broadway because it's an example of a broader base where larger audiences can be reached. But I think the artists on this panel, we're more grassroots. So the goal is not to get to Broadway, but we recognize that Broadway is the example of having all the resources that you need technically as well as financially to do a piece of work that will get viewed by a larger cross section of people.
Translation of that.
Exactly.
That
Exactly. Thank you, sis.
que se ha usado Broadway más, o sea, en realidad como un ejemplo, ¿no? De un espacio que, pues, por supuesto, tiene los medios económicos y además, o sea, también un espacio donde las obras de teatro son vistas por un público mucho más amplio. Pero la mayoría de las artistas en este panel somos artistas que trabajamos en otros grupos más grupos de base, ¿no? No necesariamente, bueno, como de teatro popular, de grupos de base que trabajan en teatro comunitario.
And I know we're getting close to our time. We definitely are ending at 4. Is that accurate?
We do need to end at 4. There's a 10-minute break though between and before we go back to Facebook Live, but we should end in the next 4 minutes. Yes.
Okay. I just want to do a closing little short statement, and I'm going to encourage everyone else. They can have an opportunity to do a closing statement, and I want to say that as a Black artist, we constantly struggle with producing work that reflects our reality and art for art's sake, because we don't have the luxury of just doing a whimsical piece. I mean, we could, but we have a responsibility to our community to produce relevant, I'm gonna use that word, relevant artworks that serve a purpose. I'm gonna stop there.
Ya. Como artistas, como artistas negras, necesitamos crear, ella dice, no, yo creo que necesitamos crear un arte que refleje nuestra realidad. No podemos darnos el lujo de crear obras que sean, o sea, como de arte por el arte, ¿no? Tenemos una responsabilidad hacia y con nuestra comunidad de crear obras que sean relevantes.
Monique, can you go quickly? Then Aminara, can you follow? Did Sunny ever get on?
Yes.
Sunny, you're on? Okay, go ahead, Monique.
Can you hear me?
It's a close. No, it's just a closing because we only have like 2 minutes, like a closing thing that you want to end out with. Yeah.
I would say that we are living in times where we're moving beyond just the physical understanding of the world into more of a philosophical, ideological, and spiritual space. We can't be together physically right now. We're in quarantine, but yet we are beginning to communicate more with people from around the world. And so with that expansion of sharing ideas, our connections actually are deepening, even though our physical vicinity is not. And my last thing in terms of community, the responsibility for each of us to our own existence is to live truth.
To what? To live?
Truth.
To live truth. La vérité.
Okay. Translation.
Que en los tiempos que estamos viviendo, además de considerar, pues bueno, la vida, el espacio físico, ¿verdad? Donde estamos, que estamos viviendo, a mí, o sea, me parece que tenemos que pensar también en esos espacios filosóficos, ideológicos, espirituales, a pesar de el aislamiento en que nos encontramos o las diferentes cuarentenas. Sin embargo, podemos compartir ideas, seguimos compartiendo ideas y nuestra responsabilidad, ¿verdad? Como artistas hacia nuestra comunidad es en realidad vivir la verdad, vivir la verdad, vivir en pleno, vivir plenamente.
I hate to interrupt, but we have a couple of people that from Argentina and somewhere else that would like to do it. If that's okay with y'all, can we hear their questions real quick?
Yes.
Is that all right?
Please.
And then we'll close up. Okay.
Yes.
Silvia, si usted tiene una pregunta o un comentario, rápido. Silvia, quite su... está en silencio.
Reconecte su micrófono.
What is it?
Reset. Silvia. Sí, Silvia, por favor.
Hola, buenas noches. Yo hablo desde Argentina, soy integrante de la compañía de teatro, todo teatro en sepia. Me siento muy honrada, es la primera vez que participo de una charla de teatro. Nosotros acá estamos invisibilizadas, gracias a la compañía de teatro podemos poner nuestras vicisitudes que son muy parecidas en todo el mundo.
Ok, Silvia, espera
estigmatizadas.
Perdón, espera la traducción, por favor.
I'm very honored to be participating in this group. Here in Argentina, we share much of the worries that have been addressed. We suffer invisibility, and so our vicissitudes, our challenges are very similar.
Les agradezco mucho esta conexión porque sinceramente estoy aprendiendo muchísimo de ustedes. Nosotros somos unas mujeres negras invisibilizadas porque piensan que en Argentina no hay afrodescendencia y soy sexta generación, descendemos de los esclavizados y he aprendido muchísimas gracias. Y vuelvo a repetirles, pertenezco al grupo Teatro en Sepia.
So she's a member of the group Teatro en Sepia. So theater in sepia is like the brown sepia. Yeah, in English too, the color sepia. And thank you very much to everyone. I've learned a lot, and I'm a sixth generation Afro-Argentine descending directly from enslaved people. And here in Argentina, we're completely invisible because of the belief or the pretended belief that there are no Afro descendants in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna have to conclude this. Any last words?
I will only. Did Sunny make it on? I was gonna let her have the last word.
Sunny did not make it on. We could not hear her, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, Aluta continua.
Thank you so much, all of you panelists. You all have been amazing. And the audience participants, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we could not get everything that everyone wanted in today, but we appreciate you being here.
And I suggest, why doesn't everybody turn on their videos just to say hello real quick?
Oh, that's good.
And I invite everyone, todo mundo por favor encienda su video para saludar, aunque sea por un momento, si puede, encender el video. Y les invito a todo el mundo que regrese al Facebook en vivo para continuar en 5 minutos. A las 10 después de la hora continuamos en Facebook Live. So please turn on your videos. Just everybody say hello. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Thank you all very much.
Adiós.
Ay, espere. Wait, don't go. No se vayan para poder verlas. Yes, so we can see you. Who are, just por curiosidad, ¿quiénes son los que están en Argentina? Que se pueden levantar la mano por los de Teatro en Sepia.
So everybody raising their hands is in theater in Sepia in Argentina, right?
Okay.
So they're doing what y'all are doing, but in Argentina.
Okay.
So this has been really great for them.
Yo quiero decir que yo viví 6 años en Argentina, nunca las conocí, me hubiese encantado conocerlas.
Bueno, te los agradezco.
Chicas,
porque hace 10 años que ya formamos parte de este grupo maravilloso de mujeres negras contando la realidad de las mujeres negras en un país racista.
So Helen, who was our meta panelist from Puerto Rico, said she lived in Argentina for several years, and she's so sad that she never met them. Here Silvia says that they're there, like fighting the fight in their racist country to get representation and visibility.
Ya
muchísimas gracias a todas.
Y como teóricamente estamos muertos y desaparecidos, yo salí del freezer hoy para participar con ustedes.
Translated television.
I
Really
came
good
out
to see
today to
you.
participate.
Aprovecho para anunciar, dejé en el chat que vamos a entrevistar a Teatro en CP el domingo. Hola
Oh,
Silvia, hola Alejandra.
Hablar esa
Ahí
niña,
está
por
en
Dios.
el canal de YouTube.
Yo tengo, estoy
El
oyendo
domingo
bien.
a las
Estoy oyendo bien
a
lo
las
que hace falta es
7
que nos deje
horas
hablar.
dominicana, no sé dónde tú estás, y a las 8
Está el
horas
micrófono
argentina.
abierto. Hola,
Ok.
chicas,
Esa
estamos desde
información en el
Cuba.
chat. Por favor, Ingrid, pon esa información desde el chat. So y'all, the representation here, we have Cuba, we have the Dominican Republic, we have Argentina. So this is an amazing, it's an amazing international panel. We actually made it happen. And New Orleans and Miami.
You know,
Absolutely amazing.
and New York,
Congratulations.
and New York.
And New York, and New York.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Congratulations. Así que estamos hablando de la representación de Puerto Rico, de la República Dominicana, de Buenos Aires, de Argentina, de Nueva York, de Nueva Orleans, de Miami, de Cuba. Así que felicidades a todos.
Gracias,
Muchas
gracias. Bueno,
Nos
gracias.
vemos. En 3
Nos
minutos
vemos.
regresamos. Gracias.
Yes.
Adiós.
Okay.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Vayan a Facebook Live, ¿sí?
No, en 3 minutos.
Bye, Ominara. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
All
Nice to meet you as well, sis. Take care.
All right. Oh, look at all the beautiful people that was on. We didn't get a chance to hear. Bye, beautiful people. Wow, look at that.
Wow. Ujú. A todos se fueron. Ok, chao, se fueron todos. Entonces ahora dónde carajo voy. Mm. No, pero este es el mío. Hola, Ale. Hola.